Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to WFSO Reaction. I just came across the video. I just watched it, so I'm gonna play it for y'all again. It's about Jrue Holiday and how he can bring the Bucks a title. So I just thought that it was a good video for y'all to like try to catch up on, and I know like some of y'all will understand it more than I do. So I just need to watch it one more time just to understand it more. So from is by just another day in the NBA. So check them out. And they do like daily basketball. So let's just check out this video. Mhm. Hmm. Yeah, he can hit some of them threes.
Secondary creator next to Giannis, or the primary creator when Giannis sat if the Bucks needed, especially in the playoffs. While you might assume that should be Chris Middleton's job, His strengths lie more as an extremely good 3-and-D wing. Basically, think of Middleton as a cop. He just goes wherever he's told and starts shooting. Players like Giannis and Jrue Holiday are the 911 dispatchers. Often underappreciated, but they run things on the floor, and Milwaukee's needed another one for a while. And as it turns out, Holiday looks to be just about the perfect fit for what Milwaukee needs. And Holiday's start in Milwaukee has been everything the Bucks expected when they traded for him. While the Bucks are currently a 3 seed, 2 games behind the Sixers, they are clearly contenders to make it out of the East. The Bucks being the 3rd seed has more to do with improvements by the 76ers and the Nets than any step back by the Bucks. Plus, Holiday has just returned from missing 10 games due to health and safety protocols, and the Bucks were just 5-5 in that stretch, including a 4-game losing streak.
5 game.
Last 4 games in a row was to the Raptors in the 2019 Eastern Conference Finals, and the last time the Bucks lost 4 games in a row during the regular season was in 2016, when Jabari Parker was their second best player and Matthew Dellavedova was their starting point guard. So it's safe to say that Jrue makes a big impact on this Bucks team. The Bucks and Mike Budenholzer have an established system that works well for them, so they needed a star that they could plug in during the shortened offseason and continue to contend at a high level. The Bucks didn't trade for Jrue Holiday so that he would come in, average 20 points a game, and change the way they play basketball. They traded for him because he wouldn't. Besides being one of the most underrated players in the NBA, he also has to be one of the most flexible and the most humble. We're talking about a guy who can score 20 plus points while adding all defensive level defense, and he's perfectly fine moving to Milwaukee and becoming the third option behind Chris Middleton. He went from being the man in beautiful, sunny New Orleans to being the third option in freezing cold, not so sunny Milwaukee and Big Bad and High. He guards the other team's best player every night. Although he's currently attempting his fewest field goals per game since the 2011 season, he's thriving in his new role. Casual observers may look at Jrue's stats this season and think that he's having a down year, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Compared to last year, Jrue is playing fewer minutes and taking fewer shots, and he's having a much more efficient season. His career high 50.2% field goal percentage makes him one of only 6 guards shooting over 50%. Along with his increase in efficiency, his 1.6 turnovers per game is a career low. If you compare this to Eric Bledsoe's stats in the Bucks last year, Jrue blows him out of the water in each one. And almost every advanced stat also favors Holiday over Bledsoe, with Holiday having a higher PER, offensive box plus minus, defensive box plus minus, and more win shares per 48 minutes. But the biggest reason the Bucks traded for Holiday was to have someone to run the offense when Giannis was on the bench, and that's exactly what Holiday has given them. The Bucks cannot contend in the playoffs if they become a G League team with their MVP off the court. Last year, the Bucks suffered a 12.8-point drop in net rating with Giannis on the bench, and this year, that number is only 6.6 points. This isn't because Giannis is less valuable than last year, but rather that the Bucks are less reliant on him, and this will pay off come playoff time when he can play more than the 30.8 minutes he averaged last year. After
Yeah,
all,
he's
nobody
averaging
was
more this
jealous of
year.
LeBron's workload on those 2018 Cavs, except maybe Kyrie Irving. Lastly, let's take a look at these lineups featuring Holiday and other Bucks players. These are the Bucks' top 4 two-man lineups that include Jrue Holiday. As you can see, none of these players are starters, nor are they considered great offensive players. Yet Jrue has been highly successful playing with any or all of the Bucks bench players. Jrue's ability and willingness to lead the second unit is one of the most important reasons that he was the perfect offseason pickup for the Bucks. Ultimately, Holiday is an elite defender, both as an on-ball stopper and an off-ball maestro, and a very good offensive player. And that profile makes him one of the top 25 or 30 players in the league. And while Milwaukee has certainly been very good, it might just be the case that they needed a player like Holiday to truly be great. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Matt from Just Another Day.
Well, I finally, watching it the second time, you finally can get like what some of the stuff they was talking about, especially the usage thing, that chart that he showed. Like I think that was the only thing I didn't you know get, but I finally do now. And like pointed out that like when the second unit comes in and he's and Drew Holiday still on there, they still will be fine, which was needed because they was always dependent on Giannis, and Chris Middleton also was kind of like up and down and stuff. Like Chris Middleton is a little bit better this year, just hopefully he can, be more ups than downs on that time. So although it was like worth a lot for them to trade for Drew Holiday, but it was worth it for them to get him. Um, thank y'all for watching. We're doing the giveaway. All you gotta do is subscribe and comment on this video and other future videos. As soon as we get to like 150 subscribers, I will make a video to announce the winner of the Iron Hammer Fungo Pop. So the more you comment, the bigger and better chances you get to win the Iron Hammer Funko Pop. More prizes to come pretty soon, and we're doing them all year round. But like this video if you do like it, and until the next one.